And welcome to Today at the Races. Keith, a bit of the theme overall for today's card, which I think is a great card, by the way, today. It's kind of post-Maryland Million. That's kind of the theme of what we've got going on
Yeah.
here. Taking a look at the track, we have a nice fast track here. Of course, turf season officially over. We're now into our first, I believe this is our first race weekend of all dirt.
All dirt.
Yeah.
And you talked about that, right? Brilliant Ice later in the card. Our classic winner on Maryland Million Day is back. Turf season is over.
Yeah.
But, man, did it go out with a bang.
Yes.
Look at these prices. We had, 5 turf races on
I almost
Sunday.
added them all of
My
them up.
Queens Re, 33.80. I hope you played along and boxed those picks in the first race. You had a $400 exacta. Race 3, Bunny Hop at 73.40. We gave it a good little mention about
You
a nurse
did.
job on the front end, 73.40. Race 5, Quadra, gave you a good story there, $31. Early pick 5 was 4 of 5. Naturally, nobody was going to hit that. Race 7, Atlas Strong, got by me, 34.40. Wrapped it up, New York Panther, 24.80.
And I believe
Wow.
you might have mentioned that one as well.
A little bit. I think that was
bit.
your top selection. That was a heck of a pick, New York
It
Panther.
wasn't
for,
my.
You sure?
It wasn't my top
Oh, okay.
selection. No.
I thought you used that horse.
I either took the horse off of my ticket. I took the horse off of my ticket. My
Oh, no.
top picks last minute that morning. So
Okay.
yeah, that's it. But that's.
All right.
I keep needing to learn this lesson apparently when I do things like that. But let's go ahead.
All right.
Let's dive into this
Okay.
card here for Friday. Of course, this early pick 5. The pools recently have been giving us some really nice sized
Yes.
pools. Right now, it's just sitting a little bit cool right now at $2,000 early in the day, though. 54 minutes to that first post and that first leg, which does start in this maiden claiming 20,000 for the 2-year-old, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt, scratching the coupled entry. General Maximus. Keith, you have the number 4 on top. Biravino Boulevard here in the barn of Jorge Duarte Jr. with the blinkers on. Horacio Caramanos on as well.
Yeah, blinkers on. We've got reported first time gelding and angle, off a smaller sample the last 5 years. 2 for 6, 4 for 6. Went first time gelding and making a move from the maiden special weight company down to the maiden claiming 224. This horse
Love
comes
that.
back to the main track. In debut, the thing that concerns me for these Duarte horses, they're so well bred, every one of them. And they look great. This guy looked good, I thought, on the track. Got in a little tight out of the gate. Didn't take a lot of money. 12-1, almost 13-1 in debut. That's a little bit of concern. There's winners in this family. I think a lot of these changes, they're attack mode with a couple horses today. They're trying to get it done. They've come down here and they're winning some races, these connections. So Biravino Boulevard back to the dirt. I'd like to see a little bit more speed. Where's that going to come from in this race? I think it's going to come from the 5, Caledon for sure, coming in for Lynn Ashby. And I don't think Fear Nothing has to be too far out of it. We'll go to the video spotlight of this one's most recent race. Bigger field, and they went fast. I mean, unusually fast for 7/8 of a mile. The maiden claiming 25, 2-year-olds, 23.46-1. Slowed it down a little bit, 46. This guy makes a move right into the teeth of the pace. Now was able to save ground. Challenges for command here, top of the stretch, maybe even put a nose in front with 3/16 of a mile to go. But Caladoro was really good, and we're going to see this one again, I think, later in the week. And I might be having this video spotlight again.
You do.
So sorry about repeating, but, we need a little
We don't
refresher
mind.
every now and then. But Fear Nothing, good enough to the wire. Has improved a little bit, I think, since the blinkers went on, maybe a little bit more focused. It's been a little bit more keyed up, but I think that's going to work in this opener on this Friday card at Laurel Park. Yes, Caledon, we talked about the 3, your top selection, Tiny Lake. Brittany's doing this a couple times today. These horses,
Sure.
well bred. This one, a $200,000 purchase for Rapoli, in for 20. Well, when you got that kind of money, you can go ahead and try to take these edges. I'll pass at a short price,
Sure.
maybe using underneath a little bit in my exactas, but it does concern me a little bit. Now, she's done well with these Rapoli firsters in the maiden special weight category. Overall, the maiden claimers, they've been these big droppers. So now we've got a firster starting out for 20. Don't know what to do, but if this horse stays around even, I want, just from a betting standpoint, no real parts of it.
Sure.
I'll try to go elsewhere, maybe
Sure.
key around the 4 and the 2.
There we go. Absolutely. 4253 Keith Fustel there in race number 1. Keith, you've got an early pick
Yeah.
forward ticket here. No single on it, though, a $27 ticket. Take it away and break it down for us.
The sequences aren't easy. We're back here to the main track, and these fields that the racing office have assembled have been pretty contentious. They're close. And I go 3 deep here to get you started. Good time to be Irish off of a break. Tap Anchor, value shot in here, and the 5 Prince of Iron. 3 deep in race 3 and 4. We go 8, 9, 10, race 3, race 4 with a 4, 9, and 10. There's another little Maryland Million horse coming right back at you in proper attire. Artily and Channing in that race as well. Maybe a couple other ones. I think Miley Stratford could have been there. And 2-6. We wrap it up in race 5. Buck and Dreamer at an 8-1 morning line, and the 6 Full Irish. Brittany, first time Brittany at 9-2. Interesting race. Pace could be really frenetic there. I mean, you're looking at a script with speed, Full Irish, Point Doom, some big enchilada, some really fast horses. Let's see if Full Irish can survive. But that's the early pick 4 ticket. It's a spread-a-rama for me.
I think you got brave picking the early pick 4 sequence today.
I tried to go middle. I was thinking about doing the middle. Yes.
I would not have judged you for that at all, because a couple of these races were a bit all over the board. I can't figure out a couple of these early races, but Keith, that's what you're here for.
Okay.
Starting in that first leg of the early pick 4 in here in race number 2 and a claiming 30,000, which have never won 2, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you have the number 2 here, Tap Anchor, Hugh McMahon, Gene Brasino. Nice little stat that we've got going on here.
Yeah, we've got a stat. Tap Anchor coming in for Hugh McMahon. Second time in the barn off a pretty long break. Second time gelding and gets some flow and protected again with the waiver. I think they altered the waiver rules a little bit, so you get a second shot. They're taking advantage of it here, which makes me think that they like this guy. He's red hot, Hugh McMahon. Last 21 days, 5 for 13. I think he's won his last 3. Yep. 38% strike rate, 9 for 13 in the money. Gaudy ROI at 668. There is flow in this race. Good time to be Irish. We can go ahead and cut to the video. It was going to be part of that speed, along with the 6 Watch Out World, who I think wants to go. But Tap Anchor to sit back off the pace was floated wide, kind of against the grain. I thought that speed holding on its most recent race. I'm looking for a setup. Good time to be Irish. Going to be part of this flow. Protected as well off the waiver, off the break. Recent claim, first off, well, not a recent claim, but first off the claim for Claudio. Gets involved in a pretty good battle, 22-3, 45-4. Midnight Renegade is going to be the beneficiary of this, and that horse was in good form at that time. And he might be coming back, if I'm not mistaken.
Slowly but surely, because I looked up on the horse myself. He kind of bounced a little bit. He was trying turf races.
Okay.
And I think I see momentum coming back from Midnight Renegade. Midnight Renegade, yes, we have not seen it yet.
Okay. Good time to be Irish, so it's quick. And maybe he does outrun the other speeds, and I think J.J. Valentin could be part of it as well. I like this move. Adorno coming in for Claudio. Yeah, I think stays the trip. But I'm looking for Tap Anchor. I think just only has to move up a couple lengths off of the second time off the break to get it done from off the pace.
Get back to a fast track. May appreciate it a little bit more. 2 for 3 on a fast track, so we'll see how he likes that. 2-5-1-8 for Keith Fustel as we go ahead to the second leg here in the early pick 4 in race number 3 in this maiden claiming 12-5. 7 furlongs on the dirt is a bit of a divider with these 2-year-olds here. Keith, you go with Urban Symphony in the number 8 in George Duarte Jr. here. Horacio Caramanos teaming up, trying and attacking the 7 furlong distance for the second time.
Another one of these well-bred horses you see curling topside.
Right.
Street Cry on the bottom. Maiden 12-5, only in its 4th start. But I did like the willingness last time. This horse was in that race with Fear Nothing. We saw it and just kind of kept grinding and grinding and grinding. It's 7/8. I'll give him one shot. I just think for the mare's point of view, they want to get a win here within this family, and Urban Symphony's in a spot on the drop to get it done from just off the pace. I don't think he's quite as quick as a couple of these other horses, especially on the outside. Up in Flames will be part of it. Courageous Mission was in that flow on October the 25th in that race with Urban Symphony. And we'll see today with Forrest Boyce if this horse wants to go and get involved. I'm not so sure. Maybe he's just quick enough and won't take as much pressure and can relax. But I think you'll see a little bit more rating going on with this horse. And has, you look at the races on the mile on the turf, a closing effort. There might be some close here for this guy to go ahead and do it and prove he can do this on the main track. 8, 10, 9, 2, balance of power. Here we go. Brittany again in for 15,000 out of the box. That's the Maryland bred price. So that's the top of this race. You're allowed to do this with the Maryland breds. But half to a grade 3 winner, half to multiple stakes winner, King Kumbalaya, who we've seen run around here, in for 15. Somebody might bite, and this might win. The mare, her best effort was on the turf, I believe was all turf.
Yes.
But this mare has struck, though, with first-time starters. 2 out of 6 have gotten it done right out of the box. So, again, look for the prices. Maybe this one can kind of sneak away at a little shorter price based on, Clark Ostrom, maybe not the Ripoli stable, right? So maybe that'll help your price there with Brittany's runner. But I think the 8 and the 10, they're going to be forward, and they can kind of grind it out. Up in Flames is shown a little bit better efforts here with the blinkers coming off.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead to race at number 4. That does start that Rainbow Pick 6. We do have a carryover from last weekend, of course, Keith, as you mentioned, with those prices on that last weekend that we had on the turf. And that is going to be well at $7,000 by the time we get to race at number 4. Taking a look at my ticket, I just gave you a slim down ticket really here. I single on Spencerian and not on Brilliant Ice, and we'll get to that in race number 8. I was worried. I'm not saying I was worried about singling because there are a couple of dark horses there that you could make a little bit of a case for, but I do feel pretty solid on Spencerian there in race number 7, coming back from that Maryland Million weekend. 3 deep in race at number 5. It's a little bit of a head scratcher for me as well. But let's get from my $14.40 ticket. Again, add where you want to split with a friend. I give you a skeletal ticket for a reason, and that's exactly the reason here with this 20% takeout for the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's start it in this starter optional 12-5 going 5.5 on the dirt. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Pretty standard. I feel comfortable in my two top selections in my ticket for the first leg, as that is your selection as well. And let's go ahead to proper attire. As you mentioned, returning back from the Maryland Million handicap, which is what we're seeing here today.
Yeah, this was second off the claim. Did score a little freshing from August to October to this Maryland Million handicap race, and was locked and loaded into the turn, around the turn. Unfortunately, this is going to happen. Green cap. Here comes the swarm. A little bounce around, and then it's like Cruz didn't even get a chance to say, let's go, because when the time, to go came, that was it. Was just surrounded, and got bounced around, no real chance. And she just lost. It looked like any kind of momentum, any kind of like, hey, gusto, let's go ahead. It wasn't there. Interesting move here. They got the win off the claim, but we're still going to be protected. This has been a really nice mare. It was in the Rob Barn, I believe, for a long time. So you got two 12-time winners in this race. I think I like that. They might end up being really nice brood mares. Proper attire, anonymously, still going strong here for Corrales. These are the 2 I key around, your 2 top selections. They're not going to be the biggest of prices, but money should be spread a little bit in here. I can't take anything less than 3-1 on anybody in this race. Maybe anonymously will get that low. But I think both of them, too, will sit forward enough trips at 5.5. Their speed right to the inside of them. Royal Seamstress, she got to go. Tam Shar, second off a break, has got enough speed. Speak Your Mind is really, really fast early. So I think both of these horses have the capability to sit somewhere 2-3 lengths out of it, make a pop move mid-turn, and go from there. Your 9, you've got into the mix as well. Jeannie and a Bridal wheeled back very quickly for Hugh McMahon. She came rolling. Don't let the 50 buyer fool you. Second off the break, she had a horrific early trip, bobbled, ranked, pinched. Perez did the right thing, gave her a little bit of a break to settle, get herself together. She finished up quite well through the final 3/16 of a mile. I think she benefits from the flow here. Utterly enchanting. I chase her a lot. Wouldn't surprise me if she gets it done. I think, again, the way things are going to set up, she can close.
Yes. 4:10, 9:11 there. Keith lays it out for you there at the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's go ahead to the beginning of the late pick 5. Here, of course, again, in our late pick 5s, low industry takeout here. Starts in race number 5, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up, claiming 45, which have never won 3. Scratch in the 9-shaped note. Keith, you go with the number 6 on top, Full Irish. You are a big fan of this horse. Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell, blinkers off. Going to be your front running, assaulting speed here today.
Maybe, you know what? And I did not have that.
The blinkers off?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. I was because I still work. I work off the early ones. I get them a week ago, and I stay with them. So yeah, and I did when I went back this morning on Formulator Look, I just didn't pick that up. So when
It's
I was
fine.
refreshing everything,
It's totally fine.
But you know what? I kind of like that. I like that
Yes.
better because he showed the ability in debut. Only go back to close. And those tactics might have to be instituted here because you've got script, point doom, or really, really fast along with the big enchilada. They hold the level off the claim. Interesting. And the number, that dirtied up form off the return, might be just enough. A good sharp workout right after the claim. Mm-hmm. Yeah, full Irish, one shot. Well, Brittany doesn't claim a slew of horses, right, but you've got to pay attention here. This horse flashed some really good ability, beating the likes of Goodnight Oscar, pretty good horse in his own right. I'll take a shot here. I want to say maybe he's an all or nothing. He's going to really show up or he's not. The 2, Buck and Dreamer, let's go to the video spotlight. His last is race 2 back, October the 13th with Point Doom. The break cost him a little bit, but you know what? He was able to overcome. Breaks inward, a little bounce around, a little jostle there.
Immediately tries to recover.
Yeah, recovers and goes up into a pretty good sharp flow. 22-245 and 1. Point Doom looked home, Callie, around mid-turn to the quarter pole. Was nursed along through those quicker internals, but Buck and Dreamer, no let up whatsoever. Kept grinding at 8-1. Dirtied up race on the turf last time out. Comes back in a bigger field, 9-horse field, competitive field. You still might get 6-8-1 on Buck and Dreamer right back at you for Joanne Schenkel and company. The 4, Kings River. I think he's back doing what he needs to be doing. His best races have come sprinting. He gets it today off a little freshening off a 5.5 on the turf. Wanted nothing of that with the pace here. I think Karamanos is going to suit this runner just perfectly. His kind of runner to make a good run from off the pace. And I like how you got 3 captains in here.
Yeah.
Hammy, this is a horse that looked like he was doing nothing. He has been revitalized since about 4 races back. Little slower flow last time. Just couldn't quite get there into those horses. Most perfect. A good horse. I think turning back could be
Hammy,
really good.
I like
for,
these
for 3 captains.
I like these moves that Hammy does, and he kind of does it too, just to kind of keep them mentally sharp. And I think that's part of the reason. And I love what he does in that sense of it all. 6-2, 4-3 for Keith Fustel there in race number 5. Again, starting our late pick 5, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back, of course, to not only our late pick 4, but the jackpot super high 5 as well. Get them 1 through 5, and that pool is yours. And it does begin in this maiden special weight for the 2-year-old fillies, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you have the number 11 on top, and Ms. Notion on the outside for Phil Capuano, a first-time starter with Thais Laia-Pustina.
Yeah, I had a really tough time with race 6. I'm not going to lie to you, because the horses that have run, you don't get a ton out. You're trying to make something up a little bit and get some real good excuses. The 6 Veloci, had an issue at the start and kind of rushed up. Yeah, might show some speed. We've got some interesting firsters when you break down the breeding, and you're looking maybe at owner-trainer combos as well, how they perform in Mopo racing and any Capuano. We'll put Phil and we'll put Dale in there. Seem to work. Okay, it's a good little marriage there. They've had these 2 connections, but Miss Notion. By great Notion, $52,000 yearling, okay, solid. And you've got siblings that have won early and have shown some really good speed and tenacity up front. I remember talk to the judge. That's one of them who won the Miss Disco Stakes. Always talking, very quick, can stay around and battle you. So I like the positioning here. And as a rider, that outer post with a firster can be a little bit tricky. You hope they don't take that right turn when the gates open. But some focus. We'll see what the board shows, but I mean, Phil's done great with the first-time starters.
Yes.
So I think we can trust a little bit in there. And Happy Hour Joker, the 2, you've got into your selections as well for Salzman. This is Rodriguez's choice. He was named on the overnight on a horse for Allard, who I thought had a shot. Mad for Maddie, proven at least to show the ability to close a little bit. But he goes here. A $60,000 at the 2-year-old sale over at Timonium back in May. Steady works, 2 winning siblings. The top was an 82 figure. 2 of the 3 have hit the board in debut. Practical Joke can get you a first-time out winner. So 14, I think it's 15% with the 2-year-old firsters. Yeah, so that works for me. 211, 11-2. Lift the lid. I'll let you talk about the top selection here. Your top selection for Brittany Russell, Michael Dove, and the Elkstone group.
You know, this half-sibling has never been off the board, winning in the 3rd start, and that was kind of commanding the field. So the first start came from off of the pace, which you can expect a little bit, but the Dam was winless and just narrowly missed in her 2nd start after a 6-month layoff for Shadwell and Kieran McLaughlin. Also, the Dam was a half to a grade 2 dirt winner as well. So this is, as far as, you know, the only thing I'm picking apart is the 5 furlong gate work. That's what I want to see. That's what I like to see. You have to trust Brittany Russell with her first-time starters at the maiden special weight level. That's what you kind of have to pay attention to here, Keith.
Yeah, when she puts the maiden special weights, it seriously means business. I mean, she's tough anytime, but at this level, very strong. We talked about the 3 a little bit for Allard. You know, gotten a little trouble out of the gate, closed some ground at Delaware. Again, you could have some horses that are all ramped up first time out and go guns a-blazing, and that could certainly set things up for a horse at close to double-digit odds for Ned Allard. I'll touch upon one other firster. Miscollected here for Susan Cooney. Only a 9% strike rate first out, but a positive ROI. Collected 6-7%. Mare was good. Won her first 3 races, including a grade 2 and a grade 3 at 2. Came to some very nice runners. 8 winning siblings. Twin Oaks Bloodstock that got some nice horses. So, you know, would not be a surprise if this one shows up first time out.
There we go. 11-2-4-3. Thank you for the mention of the number 9. I just wrote that down. I might be bringing that up a little bit later on the afternoon show. Thank you, Keith. As we go ahead to race number 7, starting the late pick 4 here in this allowance optional 40,000, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 and up. Keith, you have the number 1 on top, and Spencerian. Of course, let's go ahead and do we have? Yes, let's go ahead and take a look. Of course, it's the Maryland Million Distaff last time out.
And we talked about earlier. We got the stat, and we're going to run it back again probably later in the day because Tap Anchor I'm going to talk about a little bit more. But look at this effort. Spencerian off the 2-back race. Huge effort, no breather. And in this race, into this flow, 23-45 and 3. Makes this move 3 wide, challenges for command, actually gets a short lead, quarter pole. Unfortunately, Foxy Jr.'s 2 are outside. And Foxy Jr., as we know, is one, 6 of 7, 7 of 8. It's some kind of.
She just won the 38 go-go last weekend.
Yeah, at a 90 buyer figure.
Right.
Spencerian showing no let up whatsoever, dead game to the wire. I know, hey, Sheila's workout was rolling, but I love that effort from Spencerian. You've got this one as a single. The way the barn's been going, I even think a B-plus race can kind of get her home in here the way she's been running. Hopefully she doesn't have to run so hard to get early position again. I don't think she should here. CC Royal's kind of that question mark horse. She's flashed that ability. Dirtied up form her last couple. Could be tough. Malibu Moonshine coming right back. Broke slow, ducked in that Maryland Million Distaff. Was bet down just a little under 7-1. Second off the claim today for Todd Beatty. Another one I think with a good workout leading into this, I think she might redeem herself and run a little bit better, maybe quite better than what she did in the Maryland Million Distaff. She likes a little floated target as well. So does Deeds of Love. 1-6-2-4, shorter price on Spencerian. If you're kind of digging a little bit, maybe CC Royal, you've got her there at 20. That we talk about it again, and it happened again last week a couple times on Sunday. We give you these horses. We've got anything in the mix, 8 to 20-1 or even higher. You gotta bet 2 and 2. You're going to make money throughout the year. I'm just telling you. You will. And you box these guys, you're going to have a good little roll. But they're going to give you a thrill. There's 6 CC Royal for Hammy when you least expect it. Don't be surprised this horse, she doesn't jump up and run big today with Toledo.
I like your faith in the number 2 as well on a comeback. I'm just kind of waiting. I'm waiting to see the good behavior again before I officially put something down. But I do like that as a selection.
Is that her biggest thing? Because that's one thing I should know as a chart caller. But she's a little bit of a bad actor. Sometimes she gets a little bit, before the race gets off her game
Gets
and
a little tizzied up.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
just a little bit. So
That's a
just
good note.
I want to just see it, and that's I completely because she loves it. She loves Maryland. She loves
yeah.
running on this Maryland track. So you've got to have a little bit of trust there. In race number 7, very exciting race. Race number 8, our feature race of the day, is an allowance optional 50,000 going 1.16 miles on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you and I both have brilliant ice. Let's
Yeah.
take another rewind on Maryland Million Day, this time in the Classic.
What a phenomenal job. Yeah, this was a very, very good ride by Geron Barbosa. Now, was able to get to what I thought, and you've heard me say ad nauseum, I thought the outer portion of this track was the best part of the racetrack on Maryland Million Day, and was caught 3-4 wide at 1.125 miles, mind you, but was able to carry and just kept on sustaining into the far turn. But it was his sharpness. He knew this hole was going to open up, and he saw it probably leaving the 3/8 pole, and he had his mind set. I'm going down inside, taking the shorter route home. You can even say just maybe struggling a bit, just keeps grinding and edges away here by 5 and change when it's all said and done. That was really, really strong. Brilliant ice. 10 post, back towards the inside, has enough speed to stay close enough. We know what speediness is going to do. Speediness is going to go ahead and go. Fresh, read the release that Dave and Phil put out.
Yep.
And talking to Jamie Ness. May not be completely wrapped tight, not quite 100%, but this draw and looking kind of at the field, his main speed threat might just be to the outside and feeling woozy. I don't think he's going to go ahead and send margin of error to really press him.
No.
Maybe track. But again, this is a 5-time winner coming back. He's going to face Older for the first time, but comes back to a tougher spot. Got that 3/4 work into him. I think he's going to go a long way in here, but I can trust margin of error, your second selection as well, because this guy, all he does is win or run second. He's there every time. His numbers are a little funny. They're interesting. His buyer figures, he pops 85, then drops a little bit, 79, 88, 70. It looks like he's on a slight downward trend, but I think that lower 80 is going to work and get him into the mix. Shake 'em loose ran so big, the 5. I'm a little concerned about a bounce off of his last race.
Fair enough. 3715 for Keith Fusel there in race number 8, and our finale here today is claiming 12-5 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won a 3, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you have the number 8, Skip Through the Fire on the outside. Race kind of runs through this one. Dennis Arujo stays on.
Well, I just, Corrali's horses, when they win, they seem to keep winning, and you're looking at this race on the 24th. Now, in that race, you have Lady Charlotte, who's going to be out there battling for the lead, and Skip to the Fire ends up getting a beautiful trip. But she's shown even a little bit more positional speed than what she's shown in the past, and that's good enough, guys. We can roll it. She's going to roll by here and go away from that field. I think some questionable speed types. I think Lady Charlotte's going to go again. But possibly harmonizing to make that first move. I think you're going to see an early move into the flow from the 1. These two kind of get entangled, looking for Skip Through the Fire, Hateful, and Yum Yum Eat It Up, who kind of bucked the trend in its most recent effort when it rallied about 7 or 8 lengths off the pace up the inside. Speed was very good that day, and she was able to overcome it on the drop. So I go 8-5-3-1 in the nightcap.
And, of course, Keith, thank you so much for your selections and your analysis here on the morning show. Let's dive into that value play. On tap, Anchor, Hugh McMahon, Bristino, 15-1, also starts off the early pick 5 as well.
Yeah, Barton, that's rolling 38% last 21 days is speed in the race. Tap Anchor, getting back to a fast track, which he picked up and mentioned. I like that. Had some trouble. It was tough to close on that particular racetrack back in September. Protected as well. It was a double key race. Lots of positives. I just need a little bit of a setup, and I think Tap Anchor comes running. Use this horse first, second, and third.
Let's also discuss, we can't stop talking about post time, and why not? Just a quick, and I love this picture because this kind of does encapsulate him a little perfectly. This is why he's always, he was one of the Breeders' Cup morning, just morning crowd favorites, and that's exactly why. Assistant Emma Wolf handling him to perfection, and he came back on Wednesday. He was ready to tear down the barn, and then Emma took him out called him a wild animal. So as far as, he's pointed towards the cigar mile, Brittany says he's got a grade 1 with his name somewhere on it, but just working way up till that, and just good reports all around post Breeders' Cup for post time.
Just amazing with all that travel and everything involved, the effort that he gave, that he's still that fresh.
Yes. He was probably that fresh. That picture was obviously at Breeders' Cup, but he was likely that fresh on Thursday on his first day back. So best of luck to the connections there. Of course, everybody's cheering him on. Can't wait to see him when he does run next, and we can't wait to hear from Dave Rodman here for some more changes and scratches here coming up soon.
All right, good luck.